Hello, everybody. Hope we are live and hope you can see this and hear this. I know it's a little bit loud. Please forgive me. There is no other place I can do this live stream. Yes, and as you might have noticed, this is on my phone and I am at a different background, different setting, different country at the moment. So today we're going to be talking about cancel culture. Yes, Aaron, as you use that emoji, yes, we're going to be talking about that. But before we go on into it, no, actually, you know what? Let's talk about that first. Up till like the first, I guess, 15 to 20 minutes. And afterwards, if we have more time, I'll give you an update about where I am, what I'm doing, what kind of events have been happening, and all that. Did you get canceled? I see 20 viewers. No, I did not get canceled. If you're talking about my past, maybe, but no. Hello, everybody. I might have a little bit of trouble reading all your comments today because, as you can see, I'm in a different setting. I'm not using a laptop or anything. So everything's done by my phone, and quite honestly, I don't know if the Wi-Fi or the environment is optimal. Like, please bear with the background audio. Yes. If you are watching, please send a hi in the chat so that I can know that I'm not alone. So far, YouTube says that 50 people are watching, now 60, so I think it's slowly growing. Yes, Michelle is on point. That is definitely what I'm going to talk about today. Hello, everybody. Hello, Slav. Tinker Ever. Kim M, MJ, T Rose. Okay, I can see you guys. So I would appreciate a like before we go on. So I think that number is going to grow slowly. But yeah, since now I think more than 100 people should be watching. Let me go on. The audio is good, okay? Right? Just let me know if the audio is fine. Is the background noise too loud or is it bothersome? It's funny, me and my cousin last night was talking about Korean cancel culture. Okay, we're gonna be talking about it again. Yes. Eunice, that's okay. You can replay the live stream later, but I appreciate it. Okay, please smash that like button before we go on. Yes, it's fine, okay. So, Jay Nice, did you hear about Kim Saeron? It's sad that South Korea cancel culture did that to her. Rest in peace. Yes, that is exactly what I want to talk about today. First of all, rest in peace to Kim Saeron, the actress. If you don't know what's going on, and if you don't know why I suddenly am talking about this specific topic when usually I do just chill Korean live streams, it's because the actress Kim Saeron, which was mostly known for the young role in The Man from Nowhere, starring Won-bin, the Korean movie, which was very, very popular back then. Yes, she was the main protagonist. I guess not the main protagonist. Won-bin was the main protagonist, but she was the little girl that was being saved, like the whole motive of the whole story. So if you're curious about her acting or who she is, why she became pretty popular and well known, then go watch the movie The Man from Nowhere. In Korean, it's called Ajashi. It's a pretty old movie, but it's the Korean John Wick. But I would say it's pretty intense, and I think it's well produced to the level of John Wick. But anyways, yeah, what happened is this young actress, she was like a little child back then. I think she was like, barely even 10 or something like that. And time passed, and now she's like an adult, and she hasn't been very active in the acting scene or movie scene or anything, but she was just continuing her life as a celebrity actress and all that, as a public figure. Um, yeah, but one day, like, there are a little bit of like eeny meeny tiny incidents in between, but one day she she did a DUI. She was driving under influence, so she was drunk driving, and basically she slammed her car into like a what do you call it, a pedestrian walk, electricity generator or something like that. Those like electric uh, mini power plants. I don't even know what that means what it is in English, but that those electricity generators on the sidewalk. So she slammed her car there, and that caused a major blackout in the whole district, which caused some errors with, like, I guess internet connection, or it affected some businesses because, like, the payments weren't getting through and all that. But anyways, those are all like minor details about the case. The important thing was the fact that she was a well-known figure, and then she had that innocent image as the girl from that movie, and suddenly, without like a huge role or anything within the meantime, in the meantime, she suddenly was whirled into that incident. I guess, I mean, to be specific, she wasn't whirled into it. She actually, did the DUI. I mean, there's no denying that. That's just plain facts. So, yeah, DUI is always bad. It can't be defended. That's, just common sense. But anyways, that incident was just quite big in South Korea because, first of all, she was a public figure. DUI itself is considered very, very severe. You guys, I mean, like, the climate is just different because Korea has like very narrow roads, and it has a lot of traffic. So I don't know where you might be living, but it's not like you're driving in the countryside and there's not a lot of traffic and blah blah blah. So just to give you context, I'm not trying to blame her or anything, or like try to do secondary harm or anything. Just to give you the context before we get into the actual topic. So DUI is just taken very, very severely in Korea, and it's on par with murder, actually, because DUI is considered as potential murder. So people do not they are not tolerant towards DUIs because the outcome can lead to murder, and the fact that someone knows that and still does it, it's logically translated into that person has an intent of murder. So that's how Korean people are geared towards and focused towards DUI. That's the narrative, and that's the logic. And like, textbook wise, okay, like, that makes pretty much sense. So anyways, Kim Saeron did that DUI, and she kind of paralyzed the district and all that. The impact was just so big. Yeah, and then she was in like a fancy car, a luxury car, and then there were other reports about where she was living, and that apartment was like super luxurious as well, it was super expensive, and blah blah blah. So people, I mean, she's a celebrity, she hasn't been doing a lot of work, and then suddenly a DUI happens. It's not even like a minor DUI. She, slams into an electricity generator and paralyzes the district. And then, like, other articles about how she's like rich, driving these luxury cars and living in like a luxury apartment come out. So you obviously how it's going to go. The K-nets, the crazy people. I'm not talking about all of Korea. So if you're from Korea, 한국인이시면 일반화 하는 거 아닙니다. So the K-nets, it has a negative term. It means the akpullos, the hate commenters. The people that don't have jobs, that don't have anything better to do but to just stay in their houses and scratch their balls and eat potato chips and, you know, be jealous about people that are successful or rich. So they're like, ha, she finally, you know, failed herself, and like, oh, that's a new form of entertainment. There's my next prey, and they started jumping at her. And I mean, in general, as I said, as I explained, a DUI is considered very, very serious, and the magnitude of the DUI incident was big. So at that time, of course, she did deserve some sort of criticism, okay, like morally and legally as well. However, where it gets where it's not okay, where we have to draw the line is, okay, a celebrity or a public figure can face some sort of criticism and legal repercussions if he or she commits a crime, right? Or something like a DUI, right? However, celebrities are human beings too, and they make mistakes. Everyone in the world makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. People, the haters, are gonna jump on it and say like, oh, since you're a celebrity and a public figure who which feed off of the public's attention, you need to be morally a little bit more higher than us and perfect than us. If you don't go by that code, then you don't deserve to be a celebrity, because like you're earning, I guess, easier money in their terms by the public's love. So you know, you need to have higher standards. So anyways, yeah, so the hate just kept on piling and piling. It never just disappeared, and people were just witch hunting her to the level of, you know, just digging up all her private information, all like just sending her, you know, very malicious comments, making videos about her, making false accusations, making rumors about her, following her and all that. So there are these cyber wreckar YouTubers. They're called cyber wreckers, and that's because these YouTubers just jump on negative news and they try to ruin a person's life, especially celebrities' lives, by adding more fuel to the fire. And they normally just like add false accusations, or they just make the incident bigger by adding like irrelevant, you know, moral suspicions and all that. So that's what happened to Kim Saeron. So after the DUI, what happened was these YouTubers caught on to her, and they started like exposing how much her apartment is. And then afterwards, it was found that it was revealed that she was under like massive debt because of the incident she made. She had made a breach of contract with her agency, so she had to pay back like multiples of a fine or a penalty towards the company and also her clients as in advertisers. So she was in massive debt. She had to pay back that to the company. So this is actually a report from today. So the company actually lent her money, and yeah, she said that she would pay it back by working. However, after the incident, she was getting constantly harassed and bullied and also ostracized by society. So she was trying hard to actually work, and there are pictures of her working at cafes as a part-time job, or like any part-time job she could get. But since people started recognizing her, and she even like changed her name and tried to like, I guess, disguise her ID and stuff, and that's how she got employed and she got a part-time job, and she was doing that just to feed herself. Like she had to pay the bills, right? Apparently she had to give up the house and all that. That wasn't even hers, that was the company's. So yeah, all these YouTubers started like just, you know, barking at her and just like, you know, try to get any kind of breadcrumbs from her. So they followed her like to her workplaces and all that, and kept on. putting out false information, or just harassed her, started harassing her with every step she made. And I honestly, like, the YouTubers are at fault. So this one YouTuber called Lee was actually pinpointed by the father of Kim Saeron. He said that this particular YouTuber took the biggest role in her downfall and her mental health. So he was called out, and not only him. Once one of these YouTubers start, all these other YouTubers start a chain reaction because it's good views for them, and they try to like just make the issue worse and worse and worse, and add more fuel, and they try to dig up more dirt and all that. That's what happened with like Zhiyang and all these other public figures in the past. Even for Kuhara, like all these celebrities that committed suicide and unalived themselves, they were hated on a lot, and they were hated on way too much. Like, I'm not defending DUI, okay? Like, I still see some K-nets in the comments saying, like, we can't control her behavior, like, a DUI is a DUI, that should be criticized, but the fact that she committed suicide doesn't make a DUI better or whatever. Like, I can sympathize and all that, but, like, there are, like, very cold-hearted people in the comments. But we're not focusing on that, right? Nobody is denying that a DUI is, like, wrong, right? Like, what we're talking about is people going overboard and the cancel culture. So this is the biggest subject right now. All the foreign outlets have been publishing news about how Korea and its netizens and its cancel culture is just over the top, and it's just like too serious and excessive. It's not like it's just, I don't know how, it's just crazy. It's outrageous. Like, I don't even know how to like articulate it. Yeah, these people have no other things than to like no other things to do than just to hate a single person and see their downfall. So we have this culture called narak, and narak is like a Buddhist term, and it's the equivalent of hell in Buddhism. So Buddhism has a very big cultural impact on Korean society. That's why we got that terminology. But essentially what narak means, like, everyone, when someone gets canceled, when someone does like a questionable action, normally if it's like a live stream or like a comment section, people say like narak. They comment, it's like L, but like in a very worse term. Like they just keep on spamming narak, and that means like go to hell, you're going to hell, you're falling to hell. And that means like, you're not coming back, you're done. Something in that kind of connotation. So that culture is just so prevalent, and nobody really knows the reason towards that. Like, there are, I guess, like explanations from some kind of social experts or like pop culture experts or psychologists or whatever, but nobody really did like an intensive, thorough study on like the whole population with like a survey or whatever. Why do you want to cancel a celebrity or anything like that? Nobody really knows, but it is a fact that this culture is just so prevalent among Koreans, and I don't even know when it started, but I think, I'm not trying to justify it or anything, but just trying to identify why are Koreans like this. It's because I think everyone is just super depressed and super suppressed on the inside. They're really just, people that are tired themselves and have no hope and think of themselves as losers in the society. So they want to like vent, and they want to like they want to like direct their rage and stress towards a subject, but they don't have anybody, they don't have friends, they don't have anything, and they're just like channeling all their stress from work, academics, competition, economy, blah blah blah. And you know how much of an intense society is, right? Like, unrelated, but like this society like has the highest suicide rates. We have the lowest birth rate. Porn is illegal. Like a lot of guys are into like hidden camera crimes. Like there are illegal sex rings and nth room cases and all that. Everyone's like super super, like I'm not trying to generalize, but like if you just see the pattern among these criminals and these I guess antisocial and very depressed and stressed people, it's very extreme. Like we check all the boxes for all the dark things, and it's very over the top. And I said, like in the past, like as a person who is proud of Korea and who wants to focus on the positives of Korea, it's inevitable to neglect these kind of things that are happening. And actually, you need to actually shed some light on it for society to better and regulate and just, like self heal and all that. You need to like pop it up. So, anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, because of all that intense stress and the very very intense culture here, I think everybody is like just going crazy. And the easiest target to unleash that misleading stress and depression is and are celebrities, because it's the perfect target for them. It's like, oh wow, that person is just living their good life, living in an apartment like that and driving a Porsche and doing drugs and meeting attractive people, and all they do is they don't have any innate talent or anything. They're just born like that, or like they're just born handsome and they're rich from the beginning, and they just earn way much more than they should. Like each episode they get this much money, and they're living in Hannam-dong and Cheongdam-dong and all that, while I'm living in a basement where it's flooding, and I have like I'm only eating kum ramen and all that. So yeah, it's a very distorted, evil mindset, I think. And because the internet, it's anonymous, of course, because of that nature, they're like, okay, I'm gonna pull you down to my level too. Like, you've already been rich, been successful, and now you slipped. Now it's your chance. Try to be me. Like, I want you to come down to my level and live in this hell together. So there's this term in Korea called 배 아프다. It means like your stomach hurts, and it's a saying there's a saying that goes like 사촌이 땅 사면 배 아프다. That means when your cousin buys some property or land, you have this sick feeling in your guts or your stomach, and that's basically in German is Schadenfreude. It means like you're jealous of someone else, and you want to see the downfall of them. And I feel like this sentiment has just amplified throughout the years. This also relates to like the gap between the wealthy and the poor, and celebrities as public figures. Like normally wealthy people, they're very hidden, right? Like either unless you're like a chaebol or a known figure, normally these rich people are very hidden, and they might do sketchy stuff, but nobody knows who they are. But celebrities, on the other hand, they are technically people that actually are in the spotlight, get the love and attention of people. So when they slip, they are easy targets too. And with these stressed people, these very distorted people that don't have anywhere to like release their stress and all that, they just start going at these poor celebrities that are human beings too, and that have feelings, and they feel like such distant figures because like they're just on TV and they're just like a picture in the screen. Like you're not really in front of it. Like how many people do you think? How many Knets do you think would have the actual courage to say what they're saying in the comments in front of the face of the actual celebrity? I think zero. I would say zero. It's all because of the anonymous, characteristics of the internet. They're all hiding behind masks, and they're at some point, like with all this context going on, with the competitive society, with the like dystopian society going on, with the stress compiling, and people wanting an easy target, people wanting to pull down people. With all this going on, YouTubers and the media as well, and the mass media, the traditional media like news outlets, they are amplifying this. They are adding more and more fuel to the fire. Like in the old days, it was just like the evil Knets, like the losers. But nowadays, the media, they're hyping it up because they want views, they want advertisers, and these cyber wrecker YouTubers, they're just like digging up more dirt and trying to like drag on the situation as much as they can, as long as they can. So if the DUI incident is here, it's separate, it happened. Like, again, I'm not trying to defend it, but hypothetically, if an incident like that of that level happens, okay, like she's gonna be slanted upon for a while, like at least a month or two, right? But then these YouTubers don't want it to die down. They're like constantly, they're constantly providing air and like blowing air to the ember, to the fire, to not like get it down. So they try to dig up anything they got. They even use like private investigators. They do stalking behavior, and they follow these celebrities and give updates on their lives. And as nobody is perfect, they try to smear them and all that. And if there isn't any material for them, they make up shit. And that's where the false accusations happen. And they know well that these celebrities aren't going to rebut that or backfire on that, because these celebrities have been in a moral hazard and they're still under the spotlight. So if the celebrity were to, counter attack these YouTubers by suing them or anything, the public would be like, oh, wow, the celebrity is like so, doesn't even have consciousness, clearly that person isn't, remorsing or repenting or on anything. Like clearly they still think they're above us and all that. Like look at them suing the YouTubers. So like the system right now, the YouTubers like are just leveraging that and exploiting that situation, and it just never stops. That's how we all got updates on what Kim Saeron was doing, like where she was at, like which cafe she was working at. And like even if it's like the fact that she's working at a cafe, it's not even dirt. It's like a, from the YouTuber's perspective, it's like a pity contest, it's like a pity smearing campaign, I guess. Like they're trying to get like laughs out of like, oh, look at her, look at how she's doing now after that DUI, she's totally done now, she's like earning chump change from like part-time jobs, ha ha ha, like karma's real and all that, and they're trying to get views from that. So I think the society is at fault in the beginning, and of course the individual Knets are at fault. They are just very sick. And the internet and social media definitely has a role in spreading that, and the anonymity, sorry about that, I can't pronounce it, that factor. On top of that, YouTubers, the cyber wreckers that are constantly creating content, updating about whatever detail they have, milking the shit out of it. And then traditional media not even trying to filter that kind of stuff. Sometimes they even pick up like false information from YouTubers and then they just broadcast about it. And even with the BTS Suga case, it was totally wrong. Like JTBC didn't even do fact checking, and they just put out like random CCTV footage and all that, and they just like all they have. Even the traditional media doesn't take accountability. All they have to do is at the end just say, "Oh, we are terribly sorry for the mistake we made. We'll be a more responsible media, whatever." And that's it. Nobody even watches that apology part because it's at the end of the newsroom, and like people don't even get updated about these kind of cases. Like even for the sugar case, people just thought he was all in the wrong, and they just initially saw that CCTV footage, and that was it. They didn't get an update about JTBC's apology. Like people who aren't interested in and who aren't following the news, they're not gonna like look around and sit down and like actively watch how the incidents unfold. They're just gonna be like, oh, they're there for the tea, they're there for the drama and the actual incident, and they're like, look at him, I knew he would fumble. I knew he would do something like that. Oh, DUI. Oh, potential killer. You're out. You're canceled. Not up. And then after that, they don't care. They just go on with their daily lives. They feel good. They feel like, oh, finally a famous figure and a rich person is now, their career is destroyed, and they're now at my level again, and blah blah blah. And they just go on with their day, and they don't care to update. So that's a massive problem as well. So the traditional media definitely has a lot of responsibility as well. So all of these things combined, and the outcome of that is what we're seeing right now, the tragedy of Kim Saeron. Not only Kim Saeron, it's like sequential now. Like, I don't want to say this word, but it's actually serial now. Like, how many celebrities have we seen? Even Lee Seon-gyun, like that wasn't even like a year ago, right? Like Lee Seon-gyun, the actor from Parasite, he was massively, heavily criticized upon, and he was under massive stress. And I mean, he was doing drugs and all that, and there were allegations about like going to like, I guess like escort services, blah blah blah. There was some stuff like that. People don't know the details; they don't care about it, and he was getting a lot of like breach of contracts and penalties because of that, and he had to like pay all the clients back and I don't know, sell his house, whatever, blah blah blah. He had his family, and he was embarrassed, so he made that tragic decision. And before that, we saw Seolli, we saw Kuhara, we saw all these idols, that were criticized for nothing. Like Seolli was criticized for having no bras on, like she was slut shamed and all that, and she was being called like a feminist because of some of her like posts or her actions or whatever, and even for Kuhara as well. So it's just super tragic, and I don't. So people are asking the question: when will K-nets learn? When will they actually learn? I don't think they will ever. I actually think some people. This is the bottom of the bottom of humanity, but I actually think some people are happy right now. Like, for real. These psychopaths, these sociopaths they might be throwing an internal party inside, seeing the news. I accomplished my agenda. I mean, wasn't that the agenda in the first place? There were literal comments saying like, you need to die, and stuff like that. So I think as the internet and the society gets harder and harder, and like if there isn't like a fundamental change, if there isn't like, I guess like there were changes in the middle from like Naver, portal sites like Naver that were news providers, like because the hate comments were too much, they made like AI automated filtering, that kind of dwindled the hate comments and stuff, and they also blocked comments on political news because like political news is always just way too controversial and debatable, and also the entertainment news as well. So if you go on Naver and you click on any kind of celebrity related news, you are not allowed to comment. There's no comment function. So like those are some kind of efforts that happened in light of the past Kuhara and Seolley cases, and Korea acknowledges it, and those are the policy changes. Like the tech giants have made those changes, but that's still not enough because the reporters are now reporting about these incidents not in the entertainment section. They're bringing it to the social section, and they're like trying to bypass that because they know that if there are comments on their articles, they get more engagement, they get more views, more clicks, thus more sponsorships and ads on their company. So that's not working. And I think at the end, you know, like because this discourse has become like so big, recently there were some victories, I guess, like in the case of 탈덕 수용소. I forgot what her English channel name is, but 탈덕 수용소, it was like a very famous and notorious channel that just put out fake news after fake news, fake false accusations about like these idols, like BTS, IU, Changwon-young, and all that. They made like the person made groundless rumors and claims which were detrimental to these idols' careers. And at the end, I think it was Starship, like IVE's company, Changwon-young's company, actually went the extra length to not only sue, but it's really hard to get credentials from Google HQ, which is located in probably San Francisco or California or the US, wherever. So yeah, they actually went the length to procure her credentials and her information, revealed who she is, sued the shit out of her, and they won. And the idols were vindicated. They didn't do anything wrong in the first place, but those false rumors were all debunked. Her videos were all canceled. All the revenue from her YouTube channel was confiscated. She had to pay like a huge fine, a huge penalty, and give it back to the idols. As if the idols would care about the money, you know? Like imagine the stress. Like imagine you're not doing anything and you're saying like, that person saying like you're a slut or something like that, right? So I guess that was a little victory. So we are seeing some fundamental administrative policy changes from some big companies and also in the legal sector, and like more proactive behavior from the celebrities themselves. From IU, like if you look at IU, like she is ruthless. She does not put up with hate commenters. She sues every single one of them. And now the people are actually applauding her. And I think honestly, it's because it's IU. Like if it wasn't IU and another like a little bit of a, you know, lower impact celebrity that did that, it wouldn't have made the news. It wouldn't have been that impactful or effective or anything. It had to be IU because she's loved by the whole nation, and she can withstand that criticism of like, oh, why is she suing her, you know, like the public, when, you know, a celebrity like her needs to withstand both hate and love comments. Like hate comments are attention too and all that. Like she's making a living out of it, and now she wants to like sue these people, these, you know, people that threw just digital letters at her that didn't even like reach her, and you know, all these kind of things. But then it's IU, and she has the power, she has the impact, and I really want to like big kudos to IU for starting that, initiating that, and then afterwards everyone just started following. So I guess there are slow, you know, improvements. Like there's a butterfly effect happening, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So Kim Sae-ron is a very sad example because she's not IU, she's not BTS. She doesn't have the fandom to protect her. She doesn't have the nation to protect her. She was a loved figure in the past, but as I said, she didn't have a lot of presence until the recent DUI case. So people are like, oh, she's an easy target. Like no one's gonna back her up. Like we can just like eat her up, you know? So yeah, that's what happened, and it's so tragic for her. And yeah, when I heard that, like right now I'm in a business trip in Singapore right now. I'm not even in Korea. And quite honestly, I was just talking about like I was doing like, meetings after meetings. I was at a conference. I was meeting like Singaporean locals and all that. And because I'm Korean, like obviously there's going to be talk about Korea. And everyone loves Korea over here. Like Korea is the culture here is huge. Like K food, K beauty, K pop, K drama, K movies. Like there's a huge craze over Korea over here. It's massively popular and positive. But when we talk about the Korean society, the mood kind of changes. Like our soft power and what the facade, or like I don't want to call it a facade. Okay, the soft power and the content we provide, the products we provide, the economy we show, they're all good. But like inside, it's very rotten, and most people say that it's like that because like we just grew so fast without looking out for ourselves. We didn't care about mental health. We didn't care about like human rights. We didn't care about individuals. We didn't care about each other. We don't care about our neighbors. We don't care about the social welfare or the social well-being or anything. It's all about growth, 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 being number one, being number one, being number one. And that society just made evil monsters. And now we're seeing the result of that, and poor victims of that. So I just feel so hard torn. So like back to the Singapore story. Yeah, like while I was like boasting and praising my own country and being proud about my own country here because of so many aspects, it was very ironic, and I felt like I didn't know how to feel when I saw that news when I was talking to the locals over here. And I was like, am I even allowed to be proud of my country anymore? Because like what you see, how Korea is super popular right now, and what you see day after day on the news, there's a massive discrepancy. And it feels weird for me. I mean, like, I have nothing to do with the Kim Saeron case, right? But like once that news hit, and when I saw it, and I was in a totally different, separate setting, and the locals here don't even know about this case, and I was talking about Korea, and I was just very proud of Korea. In the back of my mind, I was like, am I really proud of Korea? And am I really allowed to say this kind of stuff in this, this specific time? Because I know that news happened, and it was massive, big news. It was a big tragedy. And then here I am, like talking about Korea in general, and then I'm being super proud about it and all. I know it's like two different things. They're two individual things, and an intellectual like human being knows how to separate other stuff. Just as like for the Kim Sae-ron case, people aren't saying like she did wrong with the DUI. They're like that's that. But then when you get overboard and the hate commenters like try to kill her and witch hunt her and like dig up more dirt and like instigate shit, that's when you need to draw the line. That's you don't cross that, and that leads to these kind of things. And yeah, it's just I can't even process what's happening right now. It's just so unjust. And the fact that I don't like whataboutisms. Like I don't like the logic of like what about that dude. Like, oh, you should focus on this rather than that. I don't like that logic normally, but in this case, naturally I get to think of all those like criminals in the K-pop sector or the acting sector, acting field, that have either done like very heavy drugs or sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, and worse stuff. And some of them are still just like happily living their lives and super successful and all that. And this poor girl, like of course DUI is very severe, but she didn't deserve that much. And I feel like there was a layer of misogyny in there too. So I can't really stand by this point. I can't really prove it, right? But if you just see the pattern and the tendency, like so far who the victims are, you naturally, like, the human mind just naturally gears towards that. You deduct that, oh, maybe she was an easier target because she was a woman. She was a young woman, and people hate successful young women. And I think that definitely added like, more hate towards her. So, yeah, if you put misogyny on top of that, then, like, it's a huge, massive, massive shit show. So, anyways, yeah, I would say, like, these traits I've been talking about, like hate in general, hate comments, like the social media, and like people, the feel of jealousy, and feeling of being a loser, and people wanting, like, seeing celebrities fail and all that. I would say that is universal, but Korea just takes it to another level because there are so many things rotten and so many things we've overlooked over generations and decades. And now it's time to reflect. And despite there being legislative changes and all that, I'm probably thinking there's going to be legislative acting in accord to this event as well. But people are finding ways to bypass that, and people aren't backing off because society is getting worse and worse too, and people are getting more individualistic. They start not caring about each other and all that. So we're doomed. I don't want to be too, like, dystopian or, like, pessimistic. As I said, like, Korean culture is wonderful. Korea has, like, its own advantages and pros and all that, and we have a rich culture. We're very proud, like, and Korean people are really hardworking, and they're very kind people. Like, I would say the mass majority of Korean people are very kind. As I said, I needed to specify that these K-nets are just evil, broken people in the inside, and they're a minority. But on the internet, even if a minority, like, if they consolidate within each other and they start liking their own hate comments with their own evil agendas, then that seems like a lot. And I truly believe, because maybe some people are actual psychopaths, sociopaths, that are hiding their true intent. They're all acting nice, and secretly they feel like, oh, I want this guy to fail or something like that. But in real life, if you talk to, like, just normal people, or my friends or my family, or everybody's just not like that. So among that 50 million population, of course, there are going to be people that are broken and evil and all that. But because of the internet and social media, it just amplifies their voice. So yeah, the internet in some ways gives power to negativity and the minorities as well. So yeah, it's just a very sad situation. As I said, I was just very, very confused, and I didn't know how to feel when I was talking about Korea in general in Singapore right now, when I was seeing that news. And it's just so heartbreaking. Right now, at her funeral, the actor Won Bin visited, and I think Han So-hee, she's another actress that was apparently friends with her, she visited, and they both mourned for her. And yeah, the sentiment is definitely, this is the weird thing though. Korean people don't reflect on themselves unless, like, they get negativity from foreigners or, like, foreign press or overseas. I don't know why it's like that, but the reason I'm telling you this is, despite a lot of Koreans always saying the same thing, like parrots, they're like, oh, what do foreigners know? They don't even know our culture, like, blah blah blah. Who are they to, like, mess with internal affairs? Like, they don't get to have any voice. Like, their opinions don't matter. They're irrelevant. Blah 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 blah. In K-pop, that's shifting because foreigners got now the consumer power. So K-pop companies don't even give a shit about domestic audience. So that's like, you got some power over there. But as a matter of fact, for, like, public opinion on social cases, there's still that barrier and there's still that shield from the K-nets saying like, oh, what do foreigners know, blah, blah, blah. But I beg to differ. And I feel like it's very important for you guys to voice your opinions and be very vocal about it, and either like Korean Post or the Korea Herald or English News or whatever, or Eyes Mag, or those mediums, is because Korean people see too. And once the foreign press starts to like touch on it, and the BBC and CNN start reporting on that, Korean people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed. We should do something about this. So it's there's a lot of like, the sentiment of like, oh, we need to get foreign validation, and at the same time when something shameful happens, they're like, oh, we need to hide, and we need to fix this so that like we don't get judged by the global society and all that. So I would say that despite a lot of Koreans saying like, your voices don't matter and all that, it does actually. And like most Koreans in general are just very thankful to everybody that is giving their time and energy and interest and attention to Korean affairs, Korean incidents, Korean culture in general. So any kind of opinion is welcome, I think. And I just wanted to say that to you guys specifically because you're my international audience. I'm an international YouTube channel as well. That's why I'm doing this pop live right now, despite me being in Singapore in a very inferior environment with the air ventilator going like crazy. I felt like, I had to like at least do this with my small audience for what it's worth, to spread the word, to empower you guys. And because I feel very ashamed too, I feel very sad too. I feel like we should do something about this, and I as an individual don't have any power. I'm not a parliament member or anything. I'm not like a community leader or anything, but with whatever coverage or whatever audience I have, I just wanted to like do my part. So that's the tragedy that's happening, and that's the stress I'm feeling as well. I feel very depressed as well. And this is very dangerous because this is another layer of talk, another layer of discussion. It might be irrelevant, but whenever celebrities commit suicide or I'm sorry about that word, unalive themselves. I don't know what it's in English, but there's the expression called 젊은 베르테르 효과. It's like, what is that in English? Young Werther's effect or whatever. If you see the novel, like people get affected by that behavior if public figures unalive themselves, and that negativity and that like sad mood just spreads through society, and there are people literally on the edge of unaliving themselves every single day. Korea has the highest suicide rate anyways, and they just need that slight trigger, slight catalyst, slight push for them to like just fall off Han River Bridge. And once these kind of incidents happen, it does have a very big negative impact. And statistically, I can't prove it, but there have been a lot of like, what do you call them? Editorials and things. So we're 베르테르 effect for sure. However that's pronounced in English. But anyways, this is a very severe case. And I don't know if it's gonna get better. Quite honestly, I have a very pessimistic point of view. As another Korean saying goes, for Korea, we always 소 잃고 외양간 고치기. That means you lose your cow and then you fix the barn. It means like you're spraying water on your burnt down house. So the damage is already done, and it's always after something like this happens when the parliament or the National Assembly gathers and these congressmen talk about like, oh, let's strengthen the laws about hate comments and like we should jail them or maybe even extend it to the death penalty and blah 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 blah. Yeah, of course that's all significant and it's necessary, but like we've been seeing a pattern. So shouldn't we go full on, double down on it and actually like monitor it consistently and actually enforce it? So it's very stressful. Okay, anyways, I've been doing this for an hour right now. This wasn't initially what I planned to do, but because this news just hit and I was just super stressed. Yeah. Despite me being in Singapore and in my hostel, I'm at the rooftop right now, and just wanted to vent myself. Yeah. So yeah, whenever I get stressed, I scratch my hair. So please understand. It's not that I didn't take a shower or anything. Like that's just my body. Like whenever I get super stressed, my hair just my head starts to itch. I don't know why. It's always been like this for me. Yeah, my body gets very, very itchy. Anyways, I know that you guys are sending a lot of comments right now. I'm sorry that I can't read all of them because like I was just very deep in my thoughts and in my feels and all that. I'll go throughout all of them. I'll back read them. I always like to do that, so I appreciate all the views and attention. And yeah, as I said, guys, voice your opinions. It really does matter, and it does really make an impact. The louder you guys are, the louder Western media is gonna, you know, latch onto this. And like BBC has been doing God's work, honestly. BBC, like a lot of Koreans are acknowledging that too. Like they're saying like, oh, BBC is like an independent, you know, foreign press that is not afraid to expose the dark sides of Korea for what it is, because it's not backed by Samsung or any patriotic or government agenda or money or anything, and they're not afraid of like Korean people's backlash. So if you go to actually the BBC YouTube page, they made like a lot of documentaries on like some dark subjects, on hidden cameras, on like the Nth Room, on the Burning Sun incident, and I feel like they will come out with a follow-up case on Kim Saeron as well. I wish they do. They reveal all, they like clock all those cyber wrecker YouTubers' asses. Yeah, I hope that person doesn't come out here because it's going to be very awkward if she's out here and I'm... Uh-oh, she's coming. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Am I locked outside? So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. 419 people watching. I appreciate all of you watching. Please smash that like button so this video can reach more people. But yes, as I told you guys, I'll wrap it up over here about like the Kim Saeron case and my thoughts about K-cancel culture. It's just gone overboard. There's no going back. There needs to be legal progress, but I'm very doubtful on what that can do at this point. I just feel like all is lost and everything's gonna get worse. But let's have hope, and hopefully, yeah, people reflect, and these sociopaths at home also feel something, feel a sense of guilt and conscience. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's it for the Kim Saeron part. And now, okay. Now, if you're not interested in my personal life or what the heck I'm doing in Singapore, or what I've been up to and all that, you may go and enjoy your day, go about and just like, yeah, do whatever. But yeah, let's transition into a little bit of a more brighter mood now, and I'll do a little bit of a, you know, maybe 20 to 30 minutes update on like where I am right now, show you maybe the landscape. Yeah, that's Raffles over there, that's Clark Key, and I might even go inside and show you how it looks like in the communal workspace. This is the rooftop over here. It's a very chill place, really nice. It's called Kin Habitat. Shout out to Ping Ping, who sponsored and accommodated me over here. So if you're in Singapore and if you want a budget affordable, very clean and convenient space. I'm not sponsored in any way. Kin Habitat, KINN. There are 3 branches in the vicinity. All of them look fantastic. So take your notes. It's very affordable, and Singapore has very high prices when it gets to accommodation. So there are capsule hotels. The capsule hotels are the majority, but they have private rooms as well. So yeah, check your options. But for me, like a budget traveler like me, I'm fine with capsule hotels, and they're very comfortable. The only inconvenience is that there are people that enter and exit the room throughout the entirety of the day and night. So you hear that door lock sound and them unzipping and pulling down the curtains and all that. So people with sensitive ears that are not good at falling asleep might not be the best place. But for me, who just lies down I can lie down on the cement floor and I can go to sleep. Yeah, I could probably go to sleep over here. For me, it's perfect. But anyways, yeah, actually, to just lighten up the mood, I actually bought some stuff from CU. No, just kidding. 7-Eleven, the local 7-Eleven right in front of here. The food prices here are quite crazy, so I had to choose the cheapest ones. I got some Lay's and Ruffles. These are 1.5 each. I saw some Cheetos, but they were like 4 point something, like a bigger bag than this. All the other stuff was like over $3. So I'm like, I'm not gonna buy snacks for more than $3, right? So I got these 2 for a budget. I got this Nutri-Soy milk, whatever it is. So apparently they don't have like a 1+1 deal over here, but they do have like a special time deal for certain items, like every week, or they have like events. So Coca-Cola right now is like originally like $3 or something, but they're selling it at half price. This one's originally like $3 or something. It's like 1.5. So I got all of this at like 3.9-ish or something like that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hang out with you guys until I finish this, and I need to call it a day afterwards because like I got a full schedule tomorrow. And am I not so caring for you guys, right? Like I wanted to talk about the cancel culture too, but I wanted to interact and communicate and just connect with you guys because I love it. Yeah. Here's the Ruffles. Yeah, so this is day 3. I'm now passing to day 4 in Singapore. I'm gonna stay like a week here, so like 3 days left. I'm gonna stay until the 21st. Tomorrow is, so I've finished all my, I finished the main event. So the main event, the reason I'm here is because I was invited by this conference summit called the North Southeast West 2050 Summit. It's about sustainability, ESG, environment, climate leaders, intergenerational leaders, innovators, and all that. Mostly about sustainability. And of course, that's pretty random for me, I know, right? But this summit is in its startup phase. It's like starting, it's launching. So the organizer, Ping Ping, she just leveraged all her connections, like people she knows, like people in this field and that field. And luckily, like one bridge across, like she knew a Korean person that had like I guess like an agency or something. And then she was a viewer of KPC. And she was like, oh, actually, I know this influencer. He's in the 50K tier, and he might not be that expensive, and he might be happy to go. Like, do you want me to ask him? And she actually asked me, and I got the email. I'm like, Singapore? Are you kidding me? That's like my second home. And you're gonna fly me in, give me accommodation, and all that? Like, I'm down. So, yeah, that's how it happened. So, even though I'm kind of unrelated to the topic, like I do have some kind of presence online, and I guess it's good for her rep and the whole summit itself. So as I said, it's like at the starting phase. So you got to use what you have, right? maybe next year, if it scales up, they could get like actually, you know, proper media ambassadors. But yeah, I'm here as a media ambassador. I'm trying my best to promote it, try to integrate it to like Korean culture. I'm gonna make a podcast tomorrow and try to make it interesting. I'm trying to weave in the topics of sustainability into like urban sustainability, and then lead it to like Seoul, and then comparing to Jakarta, Bali, Singapore, yeah, all these places. So yeah, I'm trying my best. I've been vlogging the whole time because like the deal is I need to vlog my trip here and the summit and all of that. It's gonna be fun. So that's coming out for sure. So yeah, when it comes out, please watch it, even if it's not your cup of tea. Yeah. Yeah, I am enjoying my yummy snacks. Thank you. And here's the soy milk. Oh. Cheers. This is definitely going to help me go to the bathroom tomorrow morning. Thank you. So yeah, Singapore has been more than welcoming and warm and generous to me so far. Everyone I've met, I've literally not seen a bad Singaporean person. Y'all got to really visit Singapore. It's like some, I would exaggerate to some extent that it's utopia. And then people are going to say, oh, it's a dictatorship, Lee Kuan Yew and all that. Okay, like leave aside all of that. The reason I'm slightly exaggerating that it's utopia is because it's a small city country. It's a small city nation. It's the size of Busan, right? But if you come here, there is so much diversity. It's so multicultural. It uses English, Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil. And all these ethnicities are mixed together. And there are also a lot of Westerners as well, too. There are so many expats. There are a lot of white people right next to in this neighborhood in Clark Key. The themes of the restaurants and pubs and all that, they got Korean, Japanese, Thai, you know, UK, blah, blah, blah. So many Australians are coming because it's close. It's a global hub in Asia. It's like the Switzerland of Asia. It's like a neutral country. There's so much Chinese capital, US capital, UK capital, all the HQs, global HQs are here. Probably the buildings you're seeing over there, they're probably all the headquarters of all these big banks. I get my Google AdSense money, my YouTube money from Singapore, Google Singapore. Yeah, and a lot of companies, entrepreneurs move here because like they get very big benefits for tax-wise, and you know, leading industries start off at Singapore. Singapore is very fast in adapting and introducing new technologies and all that. The blockchain and cryptocurrency community is huge here, and they got amazing wildlife and environment preservation. They got their Sentosa Botanic Gardens. I went there today. It's wild and very convenient. Public transportation. You can go everywhere with public transportation. Super clean, super safe. I think it's on par with Korea. It might be even safer than Korea. And I've asked my Singaporean friend, and she said she's not frightened to go around at like 2 a.m. or whatever. And people here leave their bags too, same as Korea. The only downside, I guess there's a lot of entertainment if you seek it. Like there's a lot in like Clark Key, and like there's a lot of shopping in Orchard, and you know, a lot of activities, beaches, parties, clubs, and all that. There's a lot, but one of the downsides I've heard from my local friends is that it gets boring quite fast. That's one thing. But then like there's a lot of sports facilities. It's a very sports oriented country as well. There's a badminton craze over here. There's like well established courts for basketball and all that. And everyone just respects each other. There's no hierarchy. I guess there is. Every society has a hierarchy in terms of like income, and like there are certain ethnicities that have tendencies and like more jobs and all that. But still, at least on the outside, and at least as you see it, it's like the model state you would imagine of like everybody mingling together. It's like financially, economically, safety wise, like very, very advanced. And I think it works because, of course, like the dictatorship is like, it's competent. Okay, I don't want to be I don't want to be controversial, so like take this with a grain of salt. But a lot of people assess as the leadership here as competent, sometimes very forcible, sometimes it shuts down voices and doesn't allow democracy that much. But so far, if you've seen the results, everybody's pretty satisfied living here. And yeah, so anyways, like I think it's applicable to Singapore only exclusively because it's such a small country. Like the United States, it's like 50 states, right? So even if there's like a federal government, if even there's the White House and the president doesn't have like entire authority over like states. Like sometimes he can overpower them, but like the states have their own laws and all that, and that's how it should be because there's only so much how like a central government or a federal government can govern over like a massive amount of land and massive amount of communities and cities and all that, right? So but for Singapore, since it's like such a small and not in a derogative way, such a like compact city, like you can look into all the details of it and be very like specific about it and actually just push forward your agenda or your campaigns very effectively. And yeah, so I mean, Singaporeans are blessed because as they are born, they use the most powerful languages in the world, the two most powerful languages in the world, English and Mandarin. So no wonder it's a global hub. All the HQs come here. And I feel pretty jealous about those kind of parts. Yeah. But then there's the weather. It's pretty humid and pretty hot every day. Right now it's pretty good. But there's like random rain showers that come and you get soaked and all that. I just love the vibes at hawker centers and like outdoor seating and all that. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful over here. And I did my exchange over here, so I have like a very fond, experience and memory. And Singapore has a very unique space in my heart. Yeah. So enough for the Singapore compliments. I've sucked up too much. It was very fancy. You should visit sometime. Yeah, I really recommend. The rent is diabolical though. The rent. Yeah. People say you can't live here because of the rent. It's crazy. Yeah, so anyways, what's interesting here is that I heard that most people here get married super early because they get massive benefits. There's something called a BTO or something like that. It's like you can buy to order. I think that's the abbreviation. What is it? Build to order. Build to order. So once you get married, you show the demand to the government that you're married and you need a house. So the government is like in construction or provides vacant houses for people and massive benefits for married couples. That's why they get very, very early marriages. Get into a house, you have to squat there, actually live there for at least like 3 to 5 years. That's what I heard. And then there is like a real estate, property boom over here too. There's pretty much a lot of speculation. So once you finish that 5-year mandatory, living period, you can sell it off for like a surplus of, I don't know, 300K or something like that, 30K or something like that. Probably 300K. Yeah, that's what I heard. So maybe Korea should adopt that system of giving massive benefit. They're already giving it. Oh, there's a little lizard over there. Do you see the little lizard? Lizard guy, hello. Yeah, there are a lot of lizards over here. Yeah. Yeah, for owning a car, they have like certain licenses, so you need to pay like a very big fee. But from what I've heard, a lot of people just, use public transportation because it's so good. And unless you have like babies or a family, or you really require, your job really requires a job, most people just don't get it. That's what I heard. So yeah, I'm having a really great time over here so far. The first day I landed, I met Bella from Naked Soul. You guys remember Bella, right? Wow. Yeah, so this is behind the scenes stuff. Once I posted the story with Bella on my Instagram, my friends, oh my gosh, these creeps. I need to ban all of them. They're like, who is this? Who is this? I'm like, why the F are you asking? Ahem. They're like, some of them were like very like forward, and they're like, oh, she's pretty. Who is she? And they were like creeping, and I'm like, she's born in 1999. Bro, F off. Like, no. And you aren't even in her league. So no, don't. Let's not. And she was my ex-employee, please. But like a handful of guys, subscribers too, followers too. But yeah, that happened. Yeah, my friends don't watch my channel. Why would they? So that happened with Bella. We did catch up talk. She's adjusting really good here. She's the crypto queen. She's earning bucks, banks, making bank. She's just very assimilated to the local society over here. I'm very proud of her, and she intends to live here for quite a while. So I got her in the vlog, so you'll see her soon. And yeah, and after that, after meeting Bella, I went to sleep because I was sleep deprived. The flight was actually horrible because, yeah, the flight was weird because it was a 12 o'clock flight. It was an 11 o'clock flight. It got delayed by an hour. We went in, and we departed, like launched off, what do you call it? Ascended? What is it? Departed, right? No. Anyways, we took off. Yeah, what is that word? Anyways, we took off at like midnight, and I was not expecting them to give us food. So it was like a 7-hour ride. So naturally they would give us food, but if you think of the time, like from midnight to 7 a.m., that is not a time where normally Korean people eat. So I was not expecting them to serve food, but then after like an hour, they started giving out food. So that's already -1 hours. And then after I'm done, like, of course I was watching a movie. I was watching a movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, them being like, fixers or whatever, and then them cleaning up corpses and blah blah. It was quite fun. And then I had to watch that till the end, so I got like -2.5 hours. So I only got like 3 hours of sleep. I arrived here, and then because of my flight, I wasn't able to do my remote work job. So at the airport, I had to like catch up to that. It was a very hectic flight. Came right away to the hostel over here, but unfortunately they didn't allow early check-in, and I'm not salty with them whatsoever, because I arrived here at like 9 a.m. So to be fair, that's too early. So it wasn't even like 1 p.m. or something. The actual check-in time is at 3 p.m. So yeah, I had to like just stall some time at the communal space, just working, but I was just so sleep deprived. I was just like pushing myself, editing and catching up to Piroso work and all that. And yeah, I met Bella without even like taking a shower, and I was like all like mustache here. And we met in like 4 years or 3 years or something. It was a reunion and a catch up, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm sleep deprived and I didn't even wash my face, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that happened, and I immediately came home and got some sleep, and then I started exploring by myself. I went to the MBS, which is like the most famous, monument of Singapore, that, you know, 3-pillar hotel. And yeah, had some good food over the weekend, met some local friends over here. And then from Monday to Tuesday, I was filming the summit in business, and yeah, it's now Wednesday today, right? And this is the podcast day, so I have to film the podcast at like noon. So probably gotta go sleep right now. It's probably like 2:30ish. So gotta get some sleep. And after the podcast, I have to go to the Korea Tourism Organization because I have a meeting over there in regards to Piroso and like my podcast. I did a meeting today too. Like, people were so interested in me. So at 5 p.m. I did another meeting here. And then after the Korea Tourism Organization, I have to go meet one of my content creator friends who is based in Singapore. His handle is ESY Films. And he starts the video like, oh, this is your Korean oppa from Singapore. And yeah, he just basically introduces the best Korean restaurants in Singapore and Korea as well. Yeah. And I'm gonna take a tour at his job, his workplace, and then have some flying noodles that he recommends. So that's that. After that, oh wow, it's gonna be a full day too. I have a mini fan meet. I don't know how many people are gonna show up, but Ryan's gonna be there for sure. I'm sorry, Ryan, because I hijacked your time. We were gonna meet one-on-one, but then people started noticing I'm in Singapore, and you know, people started messaging me and all that. So it's gonna be at least 4 people right now, maybe more. Who knows? Yeah, it's gonna be a small group of people meeting the toppings and ducks. Mini fan meet on Thursday. And I have like a job interview for the Guinness World Records. I passed my first interview, so I'm on to the final one. Yeah, so that's gonna be via Zoom on Thursday, so I have to be stationed. And of course, I have to keep up with all the remote work going on at the nighttime. So I don't know if I'm actually like, yeah, enjoying this trip that much. I am, like, because the setting is different and I get to go on like walks and get like dinner and go to like the riverside and all that, and the vibes they're very different. But like, if you actually think about it, like it's all work. So yeah, but I guess it's better than being stuck in Korea. So what I felt here is like it's super chill. Nobody really like compares each other. Like the conversations are just very different. It's not like, oh, when are you getting married? What's your salary like? What did you invest in? Oh, Tesla's down 20%. You know, what about our semiconductors? You know, are you gonna buy a Porsche? How's your rent? It's not that kind of stuff. It's like, they literally talk about their interests over here. I was surprised. Yeah. Being away is a good change of pace, yes. Well done for passing the first part. Thank you. I know that you guys haven't been active in the chat because I've been not reading it that much. Because like I have bad eyesight, and like in the nighttime, my vision's like very blurry, so I can barely like read. But I'll back read before I go to sleep. Yeah, normal conversations. Yeah, I miss them. But at the same time, I saw myself being the Korean person and shocking the Singaporeans here. So, for example, like we were talking about dating, Singles Inferno, and obviously dating came up, and then both of the guys, the two of the organizers, they weren't in a relationship, and I was like, why not? And I thought about the question, and I was like, why am I asking that question? They could be single and perfectly fine, right? Why am I questioning their relationship status, and why am I, you know, have an underlying tone of that they need to be in a relationship? So I found myself, you know, being the Korean person, and they're like, oh, because I'm just single and I don't have any thoughts right now. Could you ever see yourself moving away from Korea to live in a less judgmental society? Definitely, definitely. I have a lot of thoughts on returning to Singapore again. Yeah. Hello, Carol. Singapore looks good on you, David. Try to enjoy your time too. Thank you, K-Stosh. Thank you so much. Yes, I see myself living in Singapore in the future. As long as I can pay the rent, afford the rent. Because, okay, so this is another layer, okay? So, all the white folks in the chat, please don't get offended. I like white people. I have nothing against them. Okay? But I gotta say this. Singapore hits differently to me. So if I were to live in two places in the world, it would either be the US or Singapore. It's either those two. Or maybe Australia, but like, okay, that's like a third option. But it would either be the US or Singapore. But there are pros and cons. However, one con about the US and one thing that I'm hesitant about living in the US is because Asians are still a minority there. Like it or not, I know there's diversity. I know it's a melting pot. I know there's no discrimination, but from what I've heard and observed from Korean Americans and movies and all that, it's still a very white dominant culture, I would say. Yeah. So as an Asian, as a Korean, when I go to the US, of course, I feel totally comfortable, but there's this underlying certain discomfort that's maybe just in my own mind. But yeah, it feels like it's not truly a melting pot. It's like it's like isolated to some extent. So if you see like towns, there's like a Chinatown, there's like a Koreatown, and there's like Irvine where all the Koreans gather all together, and they rarely don't go out of their race to date or like mingle together. There's like Asian clubs and there's like white clubs and all that. So even though like everyone is like very welcoming and like kind to each other, there's like this invisible barrier that I don't know, maybe it's just me or maybe it's the people that told me, but it exists to some extent. And also because Asians are quite a minority, I guess, like maybe presence wise, number wise, and physically, I guess there's a little bit of a like intimidation. Yeah. So in the contrary, in Singapore though, because it's an Asian-based culture, it's an Asian-based society, and because there's such diversity over here, but the diversity is composed of mostly Chinese people, the Chinese Singaporeans of Chinese descent, and the original Malay people, Malaysians, the immigrants from adjacent countries like Indonesia, Thailand, and all that. And then there's the Indian and Bangladesh people. So it's mostly like that. So Koreans are a minority here too, but I don't feel uncomfortable because at least the what do you call them? We share a common theme that doesn't go that much out of the box. It's like, okay, if we're eating noodles or beef noodles or rice or it might be a different dish, different flavor, but still it's just very intertwined in a way. And the culture isn't that off. We share some characters, we share some kind of mannerisms and etiquettes and all that. The base is Asian, yeah. So it doesn't feel like I'm I am a minority ethnicity wise, but culturally I don't feel like I'm a minority. I blend in well. And because I use English, it's perfect too. It's perfect too. Yeah, so that's why I feel like Singapore is a great place. Because as I said, there's a lot of like white people here too. And I'm comfortable with white people or black people or Hispanics or whatever. But I'm just saying there's a lot of diversity here. But at the same time, as an Asian, as a Korean, I don't feel like there's a barrier or like I'm a minority here. So yeah. Anyways. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna eat these days because it's getting too late. But yeah, I can definitely see myself living in Singapore. Um, it's great for travel as well. I love traveling, so I traveled the most in my life when I was here. Yeah. Yeah, and also I was talking to the locals, and even like dating, I've seen a lot of like dating outside of their own ethnicity. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I'm having a great time over here. My clock is ticking. It's so sad that I only got 3 days left and I got so much work left. But I also feel sorry for to Jin, who's working his ass off in the office at the moment. Um, yeah, because it's government application season, fund government fund application season. So we've already applied for a few things, but there were some difficulties in the paperwork, so we might be disqualified. I mean, the paperwork was perfect, but it's about the qualifications and all that. It's just that the main problem is just that we both have too much history in making companies and all that. We shouldn't have done that, but Korea is very a wonderful place for startups. They have massive funding, they have great infrastructure and support. However, if you have already ran a company before and if you have that history, it's just very hard to cleanse that and get extra support. So Piroso is like a totally new company to us. So we treated it like that in our own mindsets, but like on paper, legally, like under our registration number is like, oh, David has founded like this, like DKDKTV, KPC, and all those businesses. We need business licenses to like go under Google and get money from YouTube. So that's the reason I made those. And Jin has made his own, companies before. So we're pretty stressed about that situation right now. Hopefully, we can appeal and maybe like find a way around it. But if not, then it's going to be very depressing. But I'm supporting with that. He's making like a presentation right now and all that. So yeah. And speaking of Piroso, so guys, please don't go. Actually, like this is not an advertisement. So you can see in my hand, I brought a bunch of stuff in my small ass carrier. I don't travel heavy. I only like put in like two sheets of underwear and socks and like t-shirts, and that's it. But the thing is, like I brought this bulky package, this bag from Korea all the way to here because I'm doing the meeting with the Korea Tourism Organization tomorrow. And we're part of it is going to be about Piroso and how we want to expand to the Southeast Asian market as well. And what they say is Singapore is like the test market for Southeast Asia. They say Singapore is very lenient with regulations and taxes and opening up companies, and it acts as a test bed. It supports English and Chinese and all that. So if it works here, you can make the HQ here and distribute it to neighbor countries, and that's what a lot of business owners does. So that sounds great. So yeah, I want to pitch my idea and mission about Piroso and also my other content related stuff. So it's going to be like just a general introduction to all my services and my assets. So I wanted to impress him, and actually I wanted to give him some visible, tangible, what do you call it, feel of what kind of things we distribute and sell and all that. So I brought the less bulkier ones. I couldn't bring the actual ones, but I brought him some tea. I brought him some Korean tea over here from Chashigan. So yeah, you can actually buy this Korean tea on Piroso. So my website, biroso.net. If you go over there, you can buy Korean traditional tea, and I'm gonna gift him all of these. I know the packaging is bad, but like what matters is my heart, right? So yeah, and these like mother of pearl stickers over here if you're a cat lover. Yeah, so he can attach it, or he can give it to his children. Yeah, you can attach it to a MacBook or your phone cover or something like that. So we have like these stickers. They're really affordable. They're add-ons if you want to buy like some expensive stuff, because I know like the overseas shipping cost is quite pricey. So yeah, buy an item and then add like these little stickers over here. These are like traditional themed, Korean royal traditional themed stickers that you can attach on the back of your phone case. They come in like gold and silver. So they're only like, I think $7 each or something like that. And I brought our postcard set. So I basically brought all the edibles, like the less bulkier ones. Like Namsan Tower over here. So the guy is Singaporean, the manager is Singaporean, and I've talked with him via email, and he loves Korea. He loves Korea. He's visited for a couple times. There's like Gyeongbokgung over here, and like all these places. Yeah, so I brought him these postcards. Oh, I should be careful not to get grease on it. And then there's also the recent Hanji product over here. So these are very great decoratives. Very great decoratives to your house. So yeah, this flower vase over here, and this is not a flower. As I can see, I can touch it all I want because it's made out of paper, Korean traditional paper called Hanji. And you can see it over here. It's very pretty. And this is a magnet, so you can put it on your desk, you can put it on your refrigerator and all that. And here you go. Like, it's all in English. Very premium. We have bigger versions of that too. So all the products you are seeing right now, you can get it on Piroso. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. And yeah, like, get something unique for yourself or your friends. Like, if you want to share Korean culture, what else is better than like giving them a present, right? So yeah, check out Piroso. And if there's anything that catches your eye, please consider purchasing it, including our own brand merch as well, like our hoodies. We're really proud of it. They're very consistent in sales, so I feel very proud of it. I also brought a wine stopper for him. So this one's out of stock, unfortunately, on Piroso. But because we had like, remaining stock, I brought this for him. So these are wine stoppers. But on Piroso, we have like royal king and queen wine stoppers as well. So they're very cute. So go check it out. If I was on the computer, I would put up the screen, but I have limited resources today. But yeah, these are the presents, gifts I prepared for the KTO manager tomorrow. Hopefully, I mean, it's just a general meeting. I don't have an agenda or anything. I'm not going to get an investment, or I'm not going to get a deal out of him, but I just want to like introduce myself, open some gates, link up, and then in the future, potentially, you never know what happens, right? So if you know the Korean Tourism Organization manager of Singapore, then possibly, yeah, something can happen in the future, right? So that's my mindset right now. And yeah, just gonna hand this over to him tomorrow after the podcast. So that's gonna be a very busy day. He's kindly just invited me to his office and all that, so that's great. Yeah, love those. Thank you so much. And actually, I sent over a newsletter. I don't remember, but if I'm correct, wait a sec. Let me go through my memory. I forgot. I can't remember. Yeah, my life is just so scattered around apart that I can't even remember the newsletter and coupon code I made. It was 3 letters. I forgot, but there's an 8% coupon code in the newsletter, in the most recent newspaper. So yeah, visit the Peranakan Museum. Okay, I'll put that down in my notes. I don't know if I'll have time, but I'll remember that. Peranakan Museum. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm just gonna finish this up and then head down to my capsule. I'll actually take you guys to my capsule. Yeah. And end the stream over there. So I'll show you the inside. I don't think anybody's gonna be there right now. Maybe I'm trapped outside. I'll show you the indoor facilities, and probably maybe because the Wi-Fi isn't that strong, maybe the stream is gonna be interrupted with the elevator. So if that's the case, then that's goodbye. That's the cue for bye. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll just take you around this floor at least. It's a digital nomad heaven. Like, yeah, I could work. I've been and I could work here every day. High calcium, high protein, reduced sugar. Apparently they have a sugar ban over here, or a sugar restriction. So the original Coke is gonna be different. They have like less sugar inside. Okay. But you would miss the snow? I don't miss snow. I hate cold. I love being warm. I would rather be not that hot or sweaty, but Singapore weather is bearable and you don't really go out that much. And air conditioning is just like super, super good here. So yeah, it's bearable. But like the cold is just not it. I don't like cold. No one misses snow. Maybe if you're Canadian. Okay, guys, I'll show you in. And wow, my eyes are actually closing right now. Oh, I'm getting very, very, yeah, sleepy. So I don't know if you can see the nightscape, but that's a little bit of it, a little glimpse of it. And this is the rooftop over here. Let me try to convert the angle so you guys can see how the road looks like. Yeah, this is like a backpacker street, so there's a lot of hostels in this road. Yeah, it's actually in a pretty hot area. Over there, right over there is the riverside. So it's a very populated and nice area. And if you go over there, there are more skyscrapers than that. Like, it's all covered by this building. Yeah, very clean, yes. So this is the Kin Habitat Hotel. Shout out to them. Shout out to Ping Ping as well. And everybody's, usually there are people that are like FaceTiming and, you know, chatting amongst themselves and this time, but I think everybody just, you know, went to sleep very early today. But okay, I'm not trapped. Yeah, but this is the inside. Oh, that's my charger. I need to get that. This is my charger. Very clean, right? Little this over here with cups and these things. The shower. I don't know if someone's inside. And what is inside? So very clean. Bathroom, dryer, all that. Nobody's inside. So, shower booth. Looks very clean, right? Yeah, 2 showers, 2 toilets.